Kevin with CreativeOrange.com, and I am here with Matt from Radiopoppers, and I'm like so excited because they're like my neighbors. You guys are up in Vancouver, I'm in Portland, and these are the new Nanos from Radiopopper. I'm excited about this because it's going to fill a lot of needs for me because with the hot shoe and stuff. So explain to me what the difference is, because I have the juniors, and I know this is somewhat similar, but can you explain to me the difference of this versus the junior?
All right. The Radiopopper Nano, it's a new product. It is the ultimate basic trigger. I mean, that's what it is. We set out to kind of take the junior and morph that into a product that everyone uses. So a lot of people who buy the juniors, they don't use the power control. They don't control the power of alien bees and stuff. They just want basic, reliable triggering.
Well, the first thing I noticed is just how easy this thing is to use. I mean, there's two buttons on this. You have the power and the test button, so you hold that, right? Turn it on. Okay. And then from there, all it is just setting your channel.
Yes.
What was it? You said something about the power turning off too after a certain time or something that for me is perfect because I'm an idiot and I leave my stuff all the time.
Yeah, the Nano, what we try to do with it is make it so it can kind of be idiot-proof. In a sense, there's a lot of people, they leave their gear on, they just forget that it's on their stuff or anything like that, and they kill their batteries. And that's kind of one of the things in making it easy is we want to make it easy so when you go to power up next time, it will power up.
Right.
So depending on how you're using it, whether you have the transmitter on your camera or you've got the receiver connected to a speed light or you've got it connected to your studio strobe, it's going to be able to sense what's going on. It's going to be able to tell if you haven't been using it for a long time, and if it determines that, hey, this guy probably has this in his bag and he left it on. Okay. It's going to turn off to conserve power. Okay. Or it can sense that, say you've got like this setup right here, we've got a receiver with a Canon 600DX on it. Say you're shooting and you forget to turn it off and it's just sitting there for a long time. Right. It can tell that it's got a flash hooked up to it. However, it's going to say, hey, this guy hasn't been shooting in a long time, so let's go ahead and turn ourselves off.
Okay, one of the first things when you showed me the prototypes of these, because I use the juniors all the time. I shoot on manual a lot outside. I'll use my speed lights. Okay. And I had the junior. I had to have the cord plugged in all the time.
Yes.
And they work great, but there's sometimes you don't get the cord right or whatever, and you're having to adjust it. These have hot shoes on them. This is unbelievable for me. This is going to be such a huge thing for me. So let's kind of talk about this, because you were showing me how you could do this. You can actually set up 2 flashes with one of these.
Yes.
Trigger it. So let's grab another flash here. Okay, so we'll just slip this on here.
You gonna give props to your friend Jason on this?
Oh yeah, this is one of Jason Group's when he set the world record for 300. Jason, I'm gonna gun for you, man. But this is one of his. I feel I shouldn't even be touching it, man, because it was one of the world record holder ones. So here, hold these. So we're going to stick this on here. There we go. Okay, now there's also a PC plug, right? Or what's this called?
So the mini phone jack.
So you can actually fire 2 of them off of one. I mean, that's brilliant, because a lot of times if you're shooting outside with sun, you want to kill the sun, you need more than one flash. So you could, if you have this is just our little jerry rig bracket, but if you got a really cool bracket, you could do that. So that's a big plus for me. Okay, so let's kind of explain to me how this works, because I know you have a receiver and a transmitter. So just kind of walk me through the steps here.
Yeah, it's really easy. I mean, transmitter goes on your camera. As simple as you hold the power button, it turns it on. You set your channel. It's got 4 channels. There's rarely going to be a situation where you're ever going to need more than one. But sometimes you might be shooting and someone else is using Radiopopper. You just pop it over to channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. Now, one thing to note is that all the channels, they work with all of our other products. So on channel 1 through 4 on all our juniors or PXs, it's going to work as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay, so then you have the power test button, right?
Yes.
The test. So.
Yeah, so when you're setting it up, whether you're using it as like a camera shutter release, you can just test that to fire your receivers. Say you just want to test your lights on your camera, maybe before you even have your camera set up, you can just hit the test button and it's going to fire all your lights.
Okay.
On the receiver, it also has the test button, and that's just to make sure you have everything set up all right.
Okay. Now, the LEDs, I noticed they kind of, every once in a while, they'll like all go.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes. One thing we built into that is everyone wants to know what their battery life is. The last thing you want to do is show up on a shoot and find out you have dead batteries, or you don't want to, every time you do a shoot, you don't want to have to replace your batteries because you're like afraid that they might be dead.
Okay.
But whenever you hit a test fire button or take a shot, it's going to blink 1 through 4 lights, and that's going to tell you what your battery life is.
Oh,
you
cool.
have 100%, 50%, or are you about to die? It's going to tell you.
Oh, very cool. There's a lot of different triggers out there. There's some really cheap ones, expensive ones. So can you kind of tell me where does this fit in, all that?
Well, at Radiopopper, we really always want to concentrate on making really high quality products.
That is true. I mean, all your stuff is amazing. I got to say.
So we set out with this one to let's really make something that has the most powerful radio on the market, has the best range, the highest reliability, and let's just make it bulletproof. So that's where we started. But when we wanted to place it price-wise, we wanted to get it as low as possible. I mean, there's a lot of choices out there with basic triggers.
Yeah.
You can spend $30 and you can get a pair of some of these things you find on eBay.
Really cheap. Yeah.
But we don't want to sacrifice quality for something like that. So what we were able to do with this is we started with an extremely powerful radio, and we made it really reliable. And then from there, we set out to just cut our costs as much as we could to make the thing really affordable.
So price point around, I know they haven't set a price yet, but
that's the one thing we're not going to talk about today.
Okay.
But it's going to be well under $100 for a unit.
Okay, that's cool. That's totally cool. Now let's talk about, there's a lot of the things with range. Everybody talks about range. There's all this range. Most of the time I'm shooting, fairly close to my subject. So what's the big deal with the whole range thing?
If you look at specs of all of our competitors, you've got range anywhere from 50 feet all the way up to 1,750.
Right.
Like some of our competitors have massive range that we're kind of hand in hand with, but other guys are quoting 100 feet or 300 feet.
Okay.
And that is the ideal range. That's if all the stars align, you're outside in this open field, and there's no radio interference. I mean, that's just the best case scenario.
Right.
And so it's not really the range that's important, it's the power that comes out of the radio. Because as soon as you start introducing people or wedding cakes, or you're putting it on the ground, or there's trees, or like in here, there's just concrete everywhere, it starts really killing your range. And so you could be in a situation where that 1,750 feet of range might end up coming down to 100. And so when it comes to power, that's when it's really important. Because if you're in a situation where 90% of your range is killed by the environment, well, that 100-foot trigger is now going to be down to 10, 15 feet.
Okay, so the example I guess would be, we were talking a little earlier how if I was up on a balcony somewhere, riding grooves or down below, and then I wanted to put we got a train going by. But okay, if we wanted to put a light, let's say there's a side doorway that's all black, and I want light coming out of that.
Yeah.
That's where this would be.
That's a perfect situation where this is going to shine, because this radio has so much power. It's going to blast through the wall. It's going to blast through that doorway and be able to trigger that receiver.
Okay, because that's really important. Like I said, the whole range thing. I don't know. I'm normally shooting this far away. It's never a long ways off. So it's more range equals power. Then is what you're kind of saying.
Yeah, range is more like power, and we want to make sure that in any situation you're going to get the shot.
Okay, so let's take this through the beginning here. Let's show how this whole system works.
All right, so your transmitter, it's very complicated. You put it on your hot shoe and you turn it on. Press and hold the power button.
I can do that, and I'm really stupid, so I can do that.
And that's it. That's all you do with the transmitter.
Okay.
Hook
then
it up, get ready to go. Now your receiver, you got to determine what you're hooking it up to. It's got a hot shoe, so any speed light or any shoe mount flash that's anything from $20 all the way up to $600.
Okay, we'll fire that. So
here's the setup right here. There's a Canon 600EX on one of our units on a lightsaber, and you fire. Turn everything on, fire.
Cool. So now we're going to add another flash.
Yes. So the other thing you have going on here, other than the hot shoes, you have a sync port, and they both actuate at the same time. So you could potentially, in this setup, we've got one receiver firing 2 flashes. So for people that are on a budget, which everyone is these days, this is the perfect setup because you're only buying one receiver.
First, you have to be smarter than the bracket. Bracket's kind of the toughest part of this whole scenario here. Okay, and then we plug this in here.
Sync port.
And turn on the Jason Group model here. This is number 6, by the way, of the Guinness Book. And now I figured out, okay, with 2 of these, I only have 299 more to fire, and I got his record.
Exactly, we're getting really close.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this situation, a lot of people are shooting outside,
Right.
and they need a little extra power, so a lot of people will get a light stand with 2 lights. You only need 1 receiver.
Okay.
And it's a similar
That's
situation.
cool.
You hook it up to fire.
That saved you money right there.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. This is good too. If you were using a softbox, something like that, 1 speed light's not going to do it. You're going to need 2 in there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
obviously you use different bracket, but this is cool. Being able to fire 2 flashes from that. Okay. We'll be back and we're going to show you studio strobes. Okay, we're real close now. I've never been this close to Matt before. And
It's pretty nice.
yeah, it's nice. It smells good.
Feel comfortable.
In a weird sort of way, I do feel comfortable. Anyway, studio strobes. You can use this in the studios too, so you don't need.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and fire that. There you go. Perfect. So fire studio strobes. This thing does everything.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the ultimate basic trigger.
It really
fire
does.
any light out there, and it's inexpensive.
Okay, so I noticed there's like no raised buttons or anything on this thing. It's just like
Exactly. There are no mechanical buttons like anything else out there on the market. Capacitive touch or touch sensitive buttons, like that's the rage right now.
Right.
We built that into this product. So there is no mechanical moving parts for the buttons.
Okay.
You literally just put your finger on it, you tap it, it senses that your finger is there, and that's what turns on the power, that's what changes the channel. So you don't have to worry about gum getting in your buttons
Right.
or your buttons breaking over life.
So are these basic triggers? They do TTL. What exactly do they do?
This is a basic trigger. It is a super easy, super reliable, and affordable basic trigger.
Okay. So it fires the flash.
It's going to fire a flash, it's going to fire your speed lights, your studio strobes,
Okay.
anything you want to fire in manual mode, and you just want it to fire every time.
Okay, which
product.
that's how I shoot, so it doesn't matter. TTL doesn't matter to me because that's how I shoot, and you should be too. So, okay, so I buy these from you and I get them.
Yes.
They come to my house via however. Okay, what does it take to set these things up?
Okay, unlike some of our other products in the past, there's no dip switches, there's nothing complicated to set up. You're literally, the transmitter, you pull it out of the box.
Okay.
It's going to come with the battery. The battery is going to be installed with a little pull tab. You're going to just literally pull the tab and you're ready to go with that. The receiver, it's the same thing. You just pull it out of the box, you pull the pull tab, the thing's ready to go. You hook it up to your light and you start
Power and you go.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's easy enough for me, so I know it'll be easy enough for you. Okay, so I'm going to put these things through their paces on this shoot. I'm going to shoot Lawrence. He works at Radiopoppers too. For my hipster project, I'm taking hipsters out into suburbia. So I'm going to put this through his paces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these on a studio strobe with a battery pack.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to stick one on a 600.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the cheap flash shoe. And I like to call it cheap flash because Jason Group had something to do with this, so I like to call it. Anyway, nothing but love, Jason. So I'm going to take that too. So you're going to have all 3 different types of light. I mean, from expensive to cheap.
Yes.
And we're going to use it in one shot and make something really cool.
Let's
out of
do it.
Just to show how these things work. So I'm excited because this is kind of a godsend for me having the hot shoe on it. So, let's do it. Okay, so we're on location now, and I was going to use this for my main light with the battery pack, but I'm an idiot and I forgot the sync cord. But no problem with the new Nanos. They have the hot shoe attachment on them. So I'm just going to use an extra speed light from my main light instead of this, which is actually kind of cooler because that way you're going to be able to see what you can do with speed lights. You can create some amazing stuff with speed lights, and I have probably the most expensive flash holder ever on the planet here.
I take my job very seriously. I will do
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to shoot this with just a speed light, and let's get going. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I shoot this thing the way I shoot here. I do this on tungsten balance because I want a really blue sky, okay? But I want my subject, Laurent here, to be daylight balance, so that I just have all blue in the background, and then I want daylight balance. So my camera's set on tungsten, so I need to actually gel the flash so that it is tungsten balanced. So it's going to be like incandescent, so it's going to actually be daylight. So he'll be perfect, background will be deep blue, and then when I take it into post, I'm going to do some desaturation stuff. I have my own little recipe for that. So I'm using all of these on manual, so that's why the Nano is perfect for me. It just is going to be a trigger, and I can shoot all over the place. I'm not going to have to worry about it not firing. So let's go ahead and just set that up. I've got all these on manual power, and they're all at full power because I know I'm outside. I need as much power as possible, and I'm shooting at f/16 because at f/16 I'm going to get the starburst effect from the background images or the flashes back there. If I shoot at 11 or 8, it's just going to be kind of a big flash of light and it won't get the starburst effect. So I need to shoot at 16 or above to get that starburst effect that I'm looking for. So At that's why I need to be full power, because you need a lot of light coming through. So let's go ahead and hold it up there. So the first thing I'll do, I'm going to turn this off. Okay, let me hold that in, turn it off. That's simple, it's off. And I'm going to take an ambient exposure first. So let's go ahead and take a meter reading here at 16. And okay, I'm at around a 1/25 a second, but I need to underexpose to make the background dark. So I'm going to shoot it like, let's just try this. So that's at a 1/60 of a second. The sky looks great, the background's black, so I'm going to start there. So now let's just put these at full power and see what we get. Let me turn it on. Just that simple. And let me get down here in position. And I think my flash is on auto off, so let's go ahead and turn that back on. I'm at f16. Perfect. Move just a little closer. Right there. Okay, Lauren, look off that way. There. Great. And let's take one more here. Perfect. That's perfect. We just rocked it. Right there, 3 shots, I'm done. It's that simple. I mean, for me, not having to set up and having to use cords, I was so happy when you guys said you were doing this. I was like, yes. So, and the cool thing is, like I said, I screwed up. I didn't bring the right cord. Well, guess what? We made it work anyway, just by using the hot shoe adapter on that. So we're rocking. Okay, so just got back to shoot, and these things, I'm telling you, they killed it. They killed it. And these are prototypes too, so.
They're pretty much close to being final prototypes. Okay. We've just tested the last couple things, and they're solid. I mean, as hopefully you were able to check out today. So as far as when they're going to come out, it's going to be really soon. We're not going to release the date just yet. It's going to be really soon, so you can go to our website, sign up for our newsletter.
Radiopopper.com. Radiopopper.com. Check out the site. When they're available, you'll know it first. We'll report it too on the site too. So I mean, because I'm stoked about these. This is what I've been waiting for. So anyway, thanks Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks Lauren, who's standing here for doing the shoot, and thanks everybody else. So we'll see you later. Kevin Focht, creativeorange.com. Thanks.